Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Valley of the Mist Block of the Month. I'm Adriane Ritter.
And I'm Shelley McNeely.
And this is the November 2025 Block of the Month. We're almost to the end of the year.
Right.
But we've got two great blocks left for you. And this one in our houses series is row houses. So don't look at mine and say, Adriane, no one would paint the house those crazy colors. And I'd say, go to San Francisco.
You never know what you're going to find. Yeah.
Okay. So this house is got a lot of pieces. And like normal, Shelley's going to go over that with you. But it's not hard to put together. So just keep in mind it's that. And we do, like normal, we're going to recommend that you lay out your blocks on a board to keep track of what you're doing. But a couple of things. Number one, please sew with an accurate scant 1/4 inch seam because we want your things to be the right height. And this center unit of each of the row houses has a lot of pieces. So there's a lot of seams there. And then if we don't tell you how to press something, then press to the less complicated or to the darker, whichever way it goes. But in general, the one pressing thing that we're going to mention a little pressing here, and it mainly has to do with the half square triangles. Because when we do half square triangles, we like to press things open. And that includes everywhere they intersect. So when you make the half square triangle, when you attach it to the house, when you attach multiples together, that's what I think you should do. Shelley has done some pressing open and some pressing other, but
I like to experiment, see what's going to work.
And it really is up to you. We're just recommending that you'll have a less of a bump if you maybe press it open.
Right.
But if your fabric wants to do something else, we can't comment. Okay, so like normal, our blocks finish at 12 inches. So you will have a 12.5 inch block when we are done so that you have seam allowance to add it on. And Shelley is going to go over the fabric.
All right. So this year, our focus fabric is called Poppies Tie Dye by Island Batik. And this is what the focus fabric you would use if you're going to turn your block in to the guild for the drawing. If you're not doing that, you can use whatever you want. And of course, this is always this year, that fabric is used for doors.
And can I just interject, the focus fabric, if you're new to this, that's just to tie all the blocks together this year. So you can have crazy all things, but at least they all have that focus fabric in there. So,
right.
And what do we use the focus fabric for?
Doors.
Okay, doors. All right.
Okay, let's start what we need for this block. So 3 pieces of focus fabric for the doors that are 2 inches by 3 inches. Then for the sky, we need 3 2 7/8 inch squares, and we're going to use those for half square triangles. Then for windows, we need 6 2-inch squares, 2 of each color. So,
and that's also optional.
Right.
You want the windows in the row house itself to be the same. If you want them all to be the same, that's fine. That's
totally
up to you.
Yeah. Okay, then for house 1. Actually, house 1, 2, and 3 all have the same dimensions. So just they're different colors. That way I won't have to repeat this for 3 times.
Right. Yeah. So she's going to say for each house you need
2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 9 inches and 2 pieces that are 1 1/2 by 2 inches. Okay. Then we're going to have a contrast for each house.
And can I interject here?
Okay.
Like on Shelley's house, she used the same contrast in all of her 3 houses. That's your choice.
Right.
But they can all be different, like I did. But they're the same per house.
Right. And that would be 6 pieces, obviously, that are 1 by 2. Then for the roof, we need 3 2 7/8 inch squares. And then again, that's for half square triangles. And then there's the ground. There's one piece that is 2 inches by 12.5. But this might be one of those variable ones we want to leave to
Yeah,
have at the
it is
end.
adjusting one in case you don't have enough height. And actually, on mine, I am using a part of a jelly roll, and they're 2.5 inch wide. So I'm not going to trim that 2.5 till the end. It's because it was already 2.5, and so whatever's extra is going to be thrown away. So I'll just wait and trim that at the end.
That being said, there's no adjustment on the sides. So
Yeah, you need to be pretty accurate on your seams. Okay, so like I said, the block is not hard to make. And the first thing we're going to do is to make the half square triangles for the roof and trim them to 2.5 inches square, each half square triangle. And then we're going to sew those together and make the 3 roof pieces. Okay, so to do a half square triangle, I'm going to pull this up. Basically, we've gone over this. If you want a more in-depth review of half square triangles, we have a separate video called Half Squared that's available to look at. But you basically, you take the lighter fabrics, you put your 2 squares that are the same size together that are going to make the half square triangle. In this case, it's a sky and a roof piece. And you draw a line on the lighter piece. Mine is the sky. I drew a line right down the center diagonal. And I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch from either side of the line. Shelley actually draws a sew line. See, she draws a line a 1/4 inch from the center and then sews on that. So you can do it either way. Once you have that done, you cut on this center diagonal, and then press them open. So here's one that's done, and it's been pressed open and trimmed to the 2.5 inch square piece. These come out pretty darn close to 2.5 inch square. So you shouldn't have a lot of trimming. The trimming, the only thing if you've not done half square triangles before that we'd recommend on the trimming is you set a ruler on the square on the and put a 45-degree line on the diagonal, and then trim a minimal amount just to get the flags or any uneven edges off of the top, one pair of sides. And then turn it around and now measure it to 2.5. Put the line on the diagonal and trim off any extra. If you measure it, if you first put it on there and it's not at least 2.5, then you're really not trimming much. You're probably unsewing and redoing that.
Yeah, that might be the real answer.
Yeah. Okay, so when we come back, we will have our roofs made.
Right.
All right, our roofs are made. And we are ready to start assembling our houses, our row houses. Okay, so this step, we want you to make the center parts of each of, I'll put this up here. We're concentrating on this center section of each of the houses. We each only have one up here because they're the same. So it's 7 pieces that you're going to sew together. I don't think there's
any issue. Yeah, just press them however works, right?
Just try to keep your seams pretty accurate, because at the end, you want this piece to be 2 inches by 9 inches.
Right.
Okay, so Shelley, let me back up a second. Shelley wasn't sure I actually told people to sew the house tops together, but yeah, we did. So let's clarify that. Okay. Back up. All right, I think you just sew them together, press them how you want. They're not going to intersect with anything.
Right.
So when we sew, I can't see whether they'll become a problem. Just just press them all some direction. Press them good. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back with our center sections. Okay. Did you have any trouble?
No, not really. No.
Me either. Mine came out to 9 inches tall, which is what we wanted. Okay, so if you did, if they did come out too short, you got to fix it. Well, you can fix it, I guess, in the grass. If you came out, whatever they did, put them next to each other and line them up so that they're the same between the 3 of them, right? So if you have to trim trim so they're going to line up horizontally.
Right.
You want the windows to be in a line and the
That's
doors
true.
to be in a line. Okay. So now the next step we're going to do, we're kind of doing two parts here. We're going to sew each of the individual houses together. So you're going to sew the sides to either side of that center, and then you're going to put the roof on, and then continue with the other two. And at the end of those, how big should they be?
Okay, each house should be 4.5 by 9. And then with the roof, it's going to be 4.5 by 11.
Right, and the 9's obvious because this strip is
Right.
9. Okay, so we want 4.5 by 11 at the end. 3 of those. Now here is the part where there's maybe a little controversy on the pressing.
Not controversy, just
But I'm going to say what I think you should do. Press. Oh, I think you should press this center house a different direction from the other two, so you can
just the roof. She's
just
talking
the
about.
roof, just this roof. When you add it on, say you press these two up toward the roof. These two, this one press down or up or vice versa. But that way you can nest them when you sew them together. Which is what I did. But the other choice is to follow what we said about if there is a half square triangle, press the seam open. So if you press the seam open on each of those, then you'll just make sure in the next step that they line up.
Right.
But so
Whatever.
do one of those two choices.
That's so.
Yeah, we're just trying to make the bump less.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to come back with 3 individual houses all sewn together.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're almost done, really.
We are. Yeah, just 2 more steps, but we'll do it in one step, I think.
2 more steps.
Sew them together and then sew on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
Isn't that all there's
Yeah,
left? Yeah.
You're right.
So now I told you the next instructions, but you still have to follow. Okay.
I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, so we have our 3 houses made. Now, what do we do next, Shelley?
We'll sew it all together.
Okay. So this is when you finally have to commit to the order of the houses. But so sew the 3 houses together along this long line. Press
What works for you.
works for you. Press best, and then we're going to sew this bottom piece on and press that, and then make sure you square up to 12.5, and the extra you would take off of that bottom. If you've measured your houses and they are 11 inches tall, then the amount, this 2-inch strip will be fine. But if it's not 11, then you need to add a little more ground.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to come back with our completed block. Was there something else I needed to mention?
Well,
Before I just don't want to forget. These blocks are due at the January meeting, not in December. Okay, so we'll be back with our finished block.
okay.
All right, we have our row house done.
Yes, we do.
That was an easy block.
It was. I really like this one.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said a few minutes ago, these blocks are due at the January meeting when we will be announcing our new block of the month for next year. And we will see you back here in December.
Right.